So I will count down from 5. All you'll hear is yes, the final episode is available. All you'll hear is my voice, so you feel free to adjust the Twitch volume if I am too loud or too soft for you while watching. Please, no spoilers while watching, and then afterwards we'll discuss the episode plus the entire season, and yeah, we'll go from there. All right, I'll give about 30 seconds for everybody to get ready before we start. And let's see how they finish this season off, because I'm not sure what they could do for a finale. There isn't much of a finale scenario that they've set up. Get your drinks, get your chips, your popcorn, your hopium, your copium, extra double, triple dose. All right. We're going to start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Apparently there's something different about the OP as well for this episode. Is it just me or does the OP sound different? Hashiguma is a giant. He's so tall. Or is his chin really short? Let me check her profile. She's 184 centimeters tall. That's about as tall as me, actually. Morning, random. Welcome. I am having lemon ginger honey tea, and what I'm eating specifically is the chunks of ginger. Very good for you, but very strong. Thank you. The cockroach is still alive. What a surprise. How does W just get in everywhere undetected? The taunt lowering talent, it's true. That probably is the mechanical explanation. Get yourself some fresh ginger, slice it up, squeeze a good amount of lemon, teaspoon of honey, boiling water, done. You don't chew the ginger, you just swallow it down whole. But chop it up. And the juice will infuse in the tea. This anime does way too much talking about what they want to do rather than actually just doing stuff. I still don't get why they're hiding Skull Shatterer's face. Like it's some special secret thing. They ran out of budget at precisely that moment when they had to show his face. I have a feeling that the name originally was Skull Shredder, and that's why they pronounce it that way in Japanese. Oh, it is Skull Shredder in Japanese? Oh. Then I don't know why they call it Shredder in English. Because Shredder works perfectly fine. Thing is, if you're so brutal and so savage that you can shred a skull, that's pretty menacing. Exia feels like she comes from a totally different world. Once again, their tactic is just run at the enemy. Something I don't quite understand. Right, because guns in this world don't operate on gunpowder. They operate on like magic or whatever. Isn't it a case where you can't just use somebody else's equipment if you don't have their same power? All right, okay. I see. We never got to see the hard-hitting melee attacks from Skull Shatterer, did we? Because that was more dangerous than the AoE, than the grenades. Wait, hang on, that was a stab? I thought she, like, shoulder charged her or something. I didn't realize... I didn't realize that was a stab. I'll need to rewatch that at the end. There's no way that was a stab. See, I thought that she got like tackled, and then the infection that she's dying from like finally got to her. I didn't realize she'd been stabbed. Is that Siege that we saw the close up of? Oh no, yeah. I didn't think she died. I thought they just like knocked her out. Okay, I'm guessing there's going to be a post-credit thing because it's ended really early. So, all of that would have had a lot more impact if we gave a damn about Misha to begin with. They really did not build that character up well at all. 2142. I'll just let it play to that. It's only a minute away. Yeah, they really did not build up that character well at all. I found no connection whatsoever. No sympathy, nothing for that character at all. And I get that they're trying to say that Reunion is a bunch of infected people fighting back against injustice, but they didn't really show that particular injustice. Yes, we did see people getting attacked and stuff, but it feels like everybody gets attacked for everything in this world. So, I don't know. Okay, here we go. Post credit. Okay, well that's that. Yeah, and then there's the announcement of the next season. Okay. All right, so that's that. Yeah, final episode doesn't change my opinion of the show. It's seriously underdeveloped. The world is very poorly built. The enemies, in particular, have no character development whatsoever. There's no... You don't feel any emotional sympathy for them whatsoever. Yeah, Reunion being about fighting back for injustices against infected people. You don't get that impression at all. Honestly, the way they built the world in this, it feels like everybody's infected, except for like that one bear lady and her kid. Literally everybody else in the world is infected. So it's like, you know, what are they going on about? And yeah, for Misha, absolutely nothing character, does nothing until the last 5 minutes of the season. So I don't know why anybody would care. They didn't build up Skull Shatterer at all either. So when Skull Shatterer dies, you just don't care. Gets replaced by Misha, you care even less. It was just, yeah, really pathetic. And I forgot about this while I was watching the episode, but almost everything they set up earlier in the season is completely irrelevant. Faust Mephisto, Tallulah, which they set up early on, are pretty much irrelevant for the entire season. So, yeah, they set up the wrong things. They build up nothing. They go into depth with nothing. It's just, yeah, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. Overall, I give the Arknights Anime a 4 out of 10, maybe. And that 4 is almost entirely leaning on the audio-visual departments. Story-wise, I give it a 2 out of 10. Maybe a 3 if you really want to be generous. You might give it a 3 just because it didn't write a story as bad as, you know, it's not, the characters in the story is not as bad as the likes of Sword Art Online, Redo of a Healer, X-Arm, you know. There's, you know, there's worse, but yeah, it's not good. The worst thing about it is that the worst thing you can say is that it's boring. And boring is worse than bad in terms of enjoyment. Because at least when it's bad, you can have fun with it. I mean, I know people say, oh yeah, that's the other thing. Yeah, they show Nell. She doesn't show up. Why the hell isn't she there? It's very strange. Like, they just did not... They have no idea how to plot a story at all. How to establish characters, how to do character arcs. Nothing. Just the basics of storytelling are missing across the board in this show. I know people say that a lot of this is from the source material. I don't care. That's the worst excuse in the world. In fact, if the source material is shit, that is all the more reason to make it better, because you've already seen what shit looks like, and you should be able to avoid making the same mistake. Oh yeah, I want to go back to that death scene. Hang on. Hang on. I've got to see this. Yeah, it totally looks like a shoulder tackle. It totally looks like a shoulder tackle. And then you don't even see... Hang on. Do you even see like them pull out the sword? No. It is the worst like attack I've ever seen. Because they don't even cut to a shot where you see like the sword sticking out of her or something like that. Yeah, it genuinely just looks like a shoulder tackle, which is why I thought they were just going to tackle her and, you know, then they'll like take off her mask, whatever, have a conversation, then she blows herself up or whatever. But it's just really bad. It's really bad. Yeah. You can't see anything. Like, even when they've got they should have, at the very least, when they have that point of view shot where she's looking down to the ground and she's wobbling and her vision's going blurry, could have at least had a shot of showing the blade sticking in her side, you know? But they don't even do that. It's just hilarious how there's just nothing there. There's nothing. It's just so funny. The gore censorship in this show is so weird. It's so weird because last episode we got some violence and some gore, but only for half the episode. I mean, it's just hilarious. Yeah, I don't know what else there is to say that I haven't already said. This anime is just not good. It's just not good. If it wasn't attached to Arknights, nobody on this stream, Nobody in this chat, nobody across any Arknights streamer chat would have watched this for more than an episode. Nobody would care. If you want to see the story that they tried to do done right, you need to play The Witcher 2. Play The Witcher 2, it does everything that this show tries to do, but to a 10 out of 10 masterclass story writing level. For those who don't know, in the world of The Witcher, elves, dwarves, those kinds of races are discriminated against, like, you know, like serious levels of racism. And in The Witcher 2, there's a faction of them that are like the terrorists, fighting back against the oppressors. But they do use terrorist-like tactics. And so the question is, well, yes, you are being oppressed and discriminated against, and you know the world treats you like crap, so and you're doing these things. But on the other hand, you are doing some really evil things and affecting actually innocent people. So you have to weigh those two things up, and then as you get involved with both sides of the story, it's really interesting to see how they go, and you really start to care for the characters, good and bad, on both sides, and the character arcs and the development is really good, culminating in some really tough moments. So that's how you do it. If you want to see it done right, play The Witcher 2. This is the worst, probably the worst example I've seen for trying to make a sympathetic enemy, you know, downtrodden enemy faction. I mean, with the Frost Nova arc, it would be easier to make something good because the source material is better. But I don't know if they will have the talent to make it engaging. Even if the story overall is better, if they don't bring in new writing staff, new storyboarders, new action choreographers, I don't see them making an engaging show. I would say if you broke down the screen time of the different types of scenes in the show, like action, your character development, that kind of thing, the most amount of time is spent on characters talking about what they want to do in this show. There is way too much just talking about the plot and what they want to do, which is terrible writing. That is an absolute amateur mistake to just talk through and explain things instead of doing things. What you want is action, and but I don't mean like guns and swords action. I mean characters doing stuff. Rather than talking about what you're going to do, just do it. Just do it. I mean, most light novel adaptations are adapting absolute garbage source material, because light novels are probably, of professionally produced content, light novels are the worst in the world. I'm thinking, you know, ebooks, novels, film, TV, audiobooks, everything. Light novels is probably the worst, like the trashiest, worst made content in the world. Yes, I can't think of something that I think less of overall than light novels. You think manga, you think webtoons, you think even visual novels. Light novels are definitely the worst. How many light novels I've seen liked? Oh, there might be like one, and that's Bacano. But Bacano, the light novel itself, is not that good. The anime made it good. The anime made Bacano good. Light novels are designed to be mass-produced very quickly, read once, and then discarded. With visual novels, they tend to have their problems. which is usually they're overwritten, a bit bloated. But for the most part, visual novels at least have a pretty good story. And they do put some effort in the characters, you know, because they want to make it so that when you pick certain paths, it's at least engaging with the different characters. So for the most part, visual novels are pretty decent. Light novels, I would say 9 out of 10 light novels have nothing good about them at all. Absolutely nothing good. Yeah, light novels are designed to be made very quickly and then just read once and then discarded, which is why their print format, like if you go to Japan and you actually look at the light novel books, they are the cheapest paper in a small size, very easy to read and then just recycle once you're done. It's not meant to be kept. It's not meant to be reread. It's not produced in a way like real fiction, where the intention is to be something that's of quality. Anything else to say about the Arknights anime? Season 2. What they need to change is they just need to bring on different writers. I think if they bring on 2 new or replace 2 staff members, they can really turn this show around. The first, they need to bring a better story, like just overall writer for the story, and they need to bring a better action choreographer. Like, not someone who does the visual part of the action choreography, someone who does the storytelling part of the action. And you bring in those 2, and the show can suddenly flip around. It could go from what it is now to like a 8 out of 10 show easy. Like just 2 seconds. And yes, the blood and gore censorship is just pathetically done. Like at the very least, look, if you're not going to have any blood, don't censor the attacks. Just have somebody get stabbed and just do it without any blood. We see that in movies all the time, you know, PG-rated movies. It sucks, but it's not the end of the world. So they should, at the very least, do that. It's just really, really weird because it stands out a lot. It really stands out just how bloodless and tame this is for a world that is meant to be kind of dark and brutal. This is the first, I think it's 0 to 3, I believe. And then Frost Nova starts in 4. 4 to 6 is Frost Nova. I wouldn't be surprised if it's another 8 episodes for all of the Frost Nova arc, which is doable, but if they're going to do that, you got to focus it, which is what they didn't do here. Early on, you know, we had Mephisto, Faust, we had Nerl, all that stuff. It's like, okay, you know, that was probably more interesting than all the actual main story stuff that we got. But if you're only going to do 8 episodes, you got to focus. It's got to be main story focus pretty much the whole way. Yes, this is the Final Fantasy XIV soundtrack. Let's make Hoshi do all the work, no blood, if you use a shield. Yeah, that is another good way of doing it. If you want to go less gore, just use like supernatural or like over the top ways of dealing with enemies. Like, you know, Amiya when she uses her magic, right? Take somebody out. You don't need a huge amount of gore for that. Hoshiguma slamming with a shield, as Tempest has pointed out. Or, you know, just get people to just use their powers more. And I think you can get away with more violent action without being gory. So very confused about the incorporated the soundtrack in the adaptation. Yeah, the soundtrack was a bit too understated. It's a bit. There is some great music, but quite often it's understated. However, I don't think it's the music's fault. I think it's what's happening in the story is so crap that the story has nothing to work with. I think there's just nothing for the music to work with when it comes to how dull the story and the characters are. Like because if you have a great character moment coupled with some good music, that works really well, and then the music will have an impact. But if the characters are just being really boring and doing nothing, the music does nothing. And in fact, if they made like more over the top music, it would just feel really weird, because it's like, nothing's going on. Why is the music going all nuts and crazy and all hype when the characters are just standing around talking like absolute bores? Yeah, my expectations now going into Season 2 are bottom of the barrel. If it's better than if Season 2 is any better than Season 1, I will be surprised. I don't have any hopes that it is, though. I think it will be inherently better in the sense because the Frost Nova story is better than the Misha story. However, when you couple it with the problems of this studio, I don't think it's going to end up being that great. But who knows? We'll see. We can always hope. I always want things to be better. I always want things to be great, and we will have to wait and see. I mean, ideally things get better, because then it'd be more engaging. I'd rather be excited. I'd rather be talking about how awesome things are and about them exploring characters in more depth and things like that. So you're saying we need to spend more on gacha to make the anime better? Budget is not an issue with this show. This definitely looks like a high budget anime. Like the visual quality, which takes a huge amount of the budget, it's very good. And they've got all the voice actors, right? It's not as if they had to substitute any of the voice actors because they were too expensive for the show after just doing a small bit in the game. Budget's not a problem. But, yeah, they need better writers. They seriously need better writers. Because, boy oh boy, was that absolutely boring. Yeah, the CG was done well, which, by the way, the CG being done well is very, very surprising for a Chinese produced series. Chinese content has seriously bad CG. So bad CG. So with this one, it feels like they, they actually cared to put some effort into it. No, it's their own studio. It's made in-house. Although, to be fair, these days there's no such thing really as a Japanese or Chinese anime studio. They're all a mix of Korean, Japanese, and Chinese. You just need to look at the credits and you'll see the number of people where it's like, yeah, there's no way there's that many Korean people working in this Japanese studio. A lot of the best animation that you see these days comes from a lot of the best animation you see these days comes from South Korea. I doubt the entire episode would be different studios, but generally what happens with the show is individual scenes will be done by different studios.